Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
You are most welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more updates, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can equally send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277-128-777, or leave a comment after watching. Thank you. I'd like you to join me listening to what lawyer Kpebu has to say about the behavior of the Attorney General in court yesterday. Thank you.
But let's bring in Martin Kpebu, this private legal practitioner, one of the foremost human rights lawyers we have in this country. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Kansi.
Great. Now, and I start off from that point that Dennis just ended about the Attorney General's position that the absence of the lawyers of the Speaker in court today amounted to the disrespect of the courts. Well, Justice Amadou Tanko, sought to draw his attention to the fact that it is for them to determine whether it was disrespect or not. But how does that strike you?
Well, what Justice Amadou Tanko said was the right thing. That was the right thing. I don't know if you played back. There was another part where he asked the Attorney General if he had reached out to Tadosori, lawyer for the Speaker, right? Once Tadosori wasn't present, the fact that he wasn't present cannot lead to a conclusion that his absence there was willful, etc. So the best thing to do is to find out. So it's good that Justice Amadou Tanko drew Godfred Dame's attention to that option, that if you don't see your learned friend, you should be able to reach out. I know Tadosori has a huge reputation at the bar. He's one of our best. So generally, you don't find adverse comments about him like that. So it's good that Justice Tanko drew his attention that you have to ask about his welfare, ask about his whereabouts. Don't just stand there and start making comments. As for Godfred Dame, he's not learning. You see, he's not learning that this is side comments are becoming one too many. You see, at the last sitting of the court, all the submissions he made, the Supreme Court just ignored them. Yeah, so he has to learn that, listen, there are times that you have to be gracious. If the man hasn't come, don't go on and on and on about him. No, it's not the best. You see, the last time, on the 30th of October, all the arguments he made, you see, the court didn't dignify him with a response. So Godfred Dame needs to learn that it's not everything you need to comment about. No, it's not everything you have to comment.
Today, there was one point that he made that, in fact, that emphatic statement that, in his view, Speaker Michael Quay's ruling on the Fomena case was illegal. It was unconstitutional, and so cannot form a basis for any decision forthwith.
Oh, obviously, it's in his favor or it's convenient for him to make that comment today. Because if you were to say Okwe got it right, what it would mean is that then this case would follow the same pattern. That is to say, they would lose this case of the vacation of the 4 seats by the various MPs. So it's convenient for the MPP and for Godfred Dame to say that Okwe got it wrong, so that Okwe's ruling does not come back to, pound or bite them. That's just it, really.
I see. But on the bit about how that also gives pointers of really how the case is going, the path the case is going to take going forward. I want us to take a listen to, and Kpebu, if you indulge me, we're also live on 3FM 92.7. Let's take a listen to the Attorney General making the argument that to the extent that Parliament is constituted by a certain number of MPs elected to represent constituents through an election, it is only the election and the election process that can alter the constitution of Parliament, right? And I'll find out if that's consistent with your understanding of what the law really says. But this is the Attorney General on the Constitution of Parliament. Take a look.
Insofar as Parliament is constituted by a certain number of MPs or members of Parliament representing those constituencies, the composition of Parliament shall not be altered except as prescribed for in the Constitution. So no person or authority, with all respect, has the power to make any decision at all or construe the Constitution in a way which will alter or change the composition of Parliament except as stated in the Constitution.
So, Counsel, that's the Attorney General there, that to the extent that Parliament is constituted by a certain number of MPs elected to represent constituents, the composition of Parliament shall not be altered except as prescribed by the Constitution.
You see, this is tautologous, right?
This is what?
Or let's say security. We are going around in circles, actually, instead of the tautology. It's going around in circles. The security is that the Constitution has prescribed in Article 97 clause 1, how a member of Parliament will lose his seat. And it's very clear in June that if you are an independent, H, let's start with H, a CMS case. If you're an independent member of Parliament and you join a political party, ipso facto, you lose your seat. So, Mr. Okanse, as we are talking, isn't it an indisputable fact that Isiama has joined the MPP?
Yes, it is.
Isn't it?
It is. It is a fact.
Yeah. So that's it. Straight. Pro tanto. Ipso facto. Just by that very fact alone. Isiama will lose his seat in this parliament. It's not by any future parliament. The Article 97 is not talking about future parliament. Then you go to the other parliamentarians. 91, why do I say 91? 97 plus 1 G. Okay? It says if you're a member of a political party and then you seek to become independent and remain in parliament. As we speak now, the MPP constitution is very clear that if they fill the candidate for parliamentary elections and you, an MPP member, also seek to contest that election, you automatically, and I'm emphasizing automatically, lose your membership. That's Article 3 clause 9. Yeah, 3 clause 9. I'm sure, Mr. Okanse, you've read it in the past.
Yes, indeed.
So, Mamle, Kpebu Asante, MP for Sum, Peter Kwachiaka, that's MP Amenfi Central, he's NDC. And then the third one.
That is, that's the former member of parliament who is now contesting on the ticket of the MPP.
Yes, we've dealt with this already. So these three, Kpebu Asante, Mamle, and then Peter Kwachiaka, they were members of political parties, and now they filed as independents. So we are clear that the MPP constitution says if you file as an independent to contest an MPP member, you automatically forfeit your seat. So that's it.
Right.
So I'm expecting the Supreme Court to come up with an interpretation that will give meaning to the MPP constitution. They sponsor the candidate. They sponsor the MP, and they say if you do such a thing, you automatically forfeit your seat. It makes sense because, you see, political parties, all right, deal with sensitive information, etc.
Okay.
So they cannot afford to continue to have moles, open moles. Of course, some people are secret moles. But when you have an open mole in your camp, very brazen, openly like this, no, it cannot be tolerated.
Right.
So if you want to see how the rule will work, can you imagine forcing a leader of the NDC? Of course, I'm tempted to say the majority in parliament, but because of the Supreme Court ruling, I will reserve comment on that. But can you imagine forcing saying that he's now going to run on the ticket of the and still wants to be leader and parliamentarian, or turn it the other way, after new marking, saying that he's running on the ticket of NDC and MPP will continue to tolerate him. No, even you come to outside these examples, in contract, there's an area called laws in restraint of trade. There are some jobs that have some sensitive information. If you leave the job today, you cannot go and work for a competitor immediately. No, we have what we call garden leave. Some of them, your contract will say sit at home for 6 months, others 1 year. And you think the member of parliament, the information that parliamentarians share amongst themselves, policies, etc. I think there are certain information that are not sensitive. So it's not new that if you leave your party and go to join another party, you should lose your seat. No, it's not new. So I'm hoping that the Supreme Court will be following.
We'll see how that plays out tomorrow when the Supreme Court delivers its ruling on this matter. But I do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us, Martin Kpebu, private legal practitioner, one of the foremost human rights lawyers we have in this country. And
thank you for staying to PENDREAM TV. Really appreciate your time. Please, if you have not yet subscribed as a new member, please do so for us. Hit the notification bell, turn it to all posts so that you'll be the first to receive any update that will be loaded onto the channel. Thank you.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.